Welcome to Swai Files. I am Swai. On a gloomy morning, as thick fog still blanketed the ocean's surface, Tyler Doyle, a 22-year-old duck hunter with a passion for outdoor pursuits, decided to venture out from the pier on the northern side of Myrtle Beach. The Carolina Sea is notoriously fierce at this time of year, but Tyler, well acquainted with every wave en route, had no hesitation. However, this hunting trip quickly became one of the most mysterious disappearances in the region, spreading unease and fear across the coastal community. As Tyler left the pier with his duck hunting gear and small wooden boat, the sea was still calm. Yet before long, the sky turned an ominous shade of gray. Waves began to swell, crashing fiercely against the boat's hull as if warning him of impending danger. Tyler remained calm until, unexpectedly, the boat's engine stalled in the middle of the open sea. The smell of gasoline wafted in the air, and Tyler quickly called a friend, reporting that the boat seemed to be taking on water and the engine had failed. His voice was shaky, sensing the lurking danger. The last moment anyone saw Tyler was when he stepped away from the phone, standing on his boat, gazing into the thick fog enveloping the sea. From the shore, his small boat appeared as a faint dot amidst the roaring waves. Tyler's figure vanished into the mist, leaving behind a chilling, eerie stillness. Local fishermen, no strangers to the mystical tales of the Carolinas waters, began spreading rumors. Some claimed the sea had called Tyler, as it had called many brave hunters and fishermen before. They also spoke of an old legend, saying that when lights appear and disappear in the fog over the sea, it is a sign of spirits beckoning someone to follow. That night, a few witnesses saw a faint, flickering light in the distance, a mysterious signal from the depths of the ocean. The light appeared briefly, then vanished suddenly, leaving those who saw it with chills, as though something sinister was watching from the darkness. The story of Tyler Doyle's disappearance quickly became a nightmare for his family, friends, and the small Myrtle Beach community. He was not the kind of person who would easily fall into trouble or lose his way on the open sea, much less someone who would risk his life meaninglessly. So what had happened to Tyler in the cold, foggy expanse? Could there be a terrifying secret buried within the ocean's depths, waiting for the brave to seek an answer? The entire Myrtle Beach area remained haunted by that question, while the waves continued to surge as if hiding a secret never to be revealed. Could it be that a mysterious force had claimed Tyler forever within the ocean's depths? Or was there something even more frightening, something no one dared to imagine? After many fruitless days of searching, the volunteers of Wings of Hope had to return home, but they left behind a message. We have done everything we could. May God grant the Doyle family a miracle. That message carried a sense of regret and disappointment, like a farewell to the faint hope that a real miracle might occur. However, the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources, SCDNR, and the Civil Air Patrol refused to give up. Despite the challenges, they expanded the search area further along the Carolinas coast, where ocean currents might have carried away any of Tyler's belongings. The search stretched on for weeks, but the ocean kept its secrets tightly sealed. Despite all the efforts, hope gradually waned among those involved, yet Tyler Doyle's family continued to pray, clinging to the belief that some miracle might bring him back. As the rescue team and the family reached the limits of their exhaustion, a small glimmer of hope suddenly appeared. The South Carolina Department of Natural Resources, SCDNR, discovered some of Tyler's personal belongings washed ashore in North Carolina. The first item found was a pair of waders, a special waterproof garment for duck hunters that Tyler often used on his hunting trips. Not far from there, his wallet was also retrieved, still containing some personal papers and a small photograph. These items seemed to carry a silent message from afar, like a final note from Tyler, leaving a chilling sensation among those who witnessed the discovery. Anyone who saw these belongings couldn't shake the feeling that they carried the ocean's traces, along with a chilling, salty scent of death and coldness. The Doyle family clung to each found item as if they were the last remaining ties to Tyler. They never ceased praying, hoping against hope that he was still alive, somewhere out there amidst the vast ocean, waiting for the day he would come back home. Nightly prayer gatherings were held in Little River, where local residents, many of whom had never met Tyler, came to share their support and comfort the family, forming a large circle of love and compassion. Every prayer that was spoken blended with the haunting murmur of the waves, like a hymn carried by the sea, holding on to the fragile belief that a miracle might appear. However, rumors and whispers began to spread, adding an eerie layer to the mystery of Tyler's disappearance. Some locals claimed they had seen strange shadows drifting near the shore on moonless nights, close to where Tyler's belongings had been found. A few fishermen even recounted hearing distant cries coming from the ocean on foggy nights, like the wail of a lost soul calling out for help. They whispered among themselves about ghostly tales of wandering spirits, unable to find their way back, forever trapped by the sea. Tyler's wife, Lakeland, filled with anxiety, tried to stay strong. Yet she couldn't escape the haunting feeling whenever she saw Tyler's waders and wallet, as if they were a grim reminder that the ocean might have claimed him for good. Now 7 months pregnant, Lakeland felt the mounting pressure weighing on her. She decided to turn her social media accounts private after some cruel rumors about Tyler's disappearance started circulating. For Lakeland, these rumors only deepened the wounds her family was suffering, and she wanted to shield her unborn child from any additional strain. Tyler's father, Brian Doyle, despite the harsh whispers, remained resolute and called upon the community for support. "We need prayers," he said in an interview, "and a miracle to bring Tyler back." Each time he looked out at the ocean, he felt an overwhelming sadness, as if the sea was holding his son in its depths, refusing to let him go. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and darkness crept in, Brian stood on the chilly shore, staring into the distant line where the sky met the water. To him, the ocean seemed like a living entity, one that could hold tight to what it wanted, but also possessed the power to grant unexplainable miracles. He whispered a final prayer, hoping that, even if it were just a small miracle, it might bring Tyler back safely, or at the very least, provide an answer to all the unresolved questions. Day by day, the waves of Myrtle Beach continued their rhythmic dance, like a silent message from the deep. The faint clues had sparked a sliver of hope, yet they also left a lingering fear with each passing wave. Was the ocean truly holding on to Tyler forever? Or was there some mysterious force playing with these fragile signs, prolonging the painful journey of his family and friends? It was January 27, 2019, a cold and quiet Sunday at Lake Arrowhead, California. Dawson Hartwig, a 20-year-old young man full of enthusiasm with bright eyes and a friendly smile, had decided to spend a weekend getaway at this famous lake with his close friends. Surrounded by stunning nature, it was the perfect place to relax and escape the hustle and bustle of the city. Dawson was not only a strong young man, but he also lived wholeheartedly for his community. He grew up in a deeply religious family in the city of Cucamonga and learned the value of dedication from an early age. Dawson spent countless hours training, enduring rigorous courses to become a lifeguard and swim instructor for the city of Fontana. He was not just a skilled swimmer. He had a knack for survival in water environments, a rare ability for someone his age. On the afternoon of January 27th, Dawson and his friends relaxed in the cabin they had rented, not far from Lake Arrowhead on Burnt Mill Road. The air around the lake was cold and crisp, with a light fog gently covering the water's surface, creating a scene that was both mysterious and enchanting. Dawson, with his love for nature and his appreciation for solitary moments, decided to take a walk alone. He didn't carry much, just himself, as he stepped onto the trail leading to the lake. His friends didn't think much of it. They knew he enjoyed immersing himself in the serene surroundings and often took walks to breathe in the fresh air. But as darkness began to fall and the cold intensified, everyone grew worried when Dawson hadn't returned to the cabin. At first, they thought he might have stopped somewhere to admire the lake or reflect on life for a while. But as the clock ticked past 8 p.m., then 9 p.m., a sense of dread started to creep into each of them. They called him several times, but there was no answer, and no trace of him could be found around the cabin. Anxiety tightened its grip, and after a desperate but unsuccessful search nearby, they decided to contact the authorities. The San Bernardino County Sheriff's Office quickly sprang into action. A massive search was launched that night, involving more than 70 rescue personnel and deputies, 3 canine units, and dozens of volunteers. They spread out, combing every rock, every bush, and every corner around the lake. Even as the night deepened, each search team continued their efforts, with flashlight beams cutting through the silent darkness. They searched through the entire night, but still there was no sign of Dawson. The darkness and the cold seemed to underscore the eerie nature of his disappearance. 2 days later, at 1:10 a.m. on January 29th, the hope for a miracle was extinguished when the dive team discovered Dawson's body about 10 meters, approximately 30 feet from the shoreline, submerged 9 meters, about 30 feet, underwater near the yacht club area of Lake Arrowhead. The sight left everyone stunned. This strong, talented young man, with a deep belief in life's possibilities, now lay still beneath the cold water. Dawson Hartwig never returned from his solitary walk that evening. The autopsy report determined the cause of death as hypothermia and drowning. Yet for anyone who knew Dawson, this conclusion was hard to accept. Dawson wasn't just a good swimmer, he was a professional lifeguard and swim instructor. He understood the risks of being in the water and had been trained to survive in the most challenging situations. Since high school, he had passed the physically demanding tests required to earn his lifeguard certification, and according to his friends, Dawson was like a fish in the water. The idea that someone with his skills could drown in a lake he knew well left many in disbelief. Dawson's father, Mark Hartwig, the chief of the San Bernardino County Fire Department, had spent his life working in rescue services, facing countless emergencies. He understood his son's capabilities and unwavering faith. For Mark, Dawson was not only the pride of the family, but also a talented young man with a compassionate heart. Dawson's sudden departure left an unfillable void and a lingering ache that nothing could ease. Mark knew that Dawson was a responsible, careful person who always faced danger with calmness and preparedness. So, what really happened on that fateful night? Why did someone with such strength and spirit meet a tragic end in a familiar lake? Lake Arrowhead, with its calm waters surrounded by rugged granite cliffs, now held within it a sad story, a mystery that remained unsolved. Dawson Hartwig, a young man full of promise, love for life, and dedication to his community, was now gone under circumstances that no one could understand. His friends, who once sat beside him in the cabin by the lake's edge, now grappled with the loss and the unanswered questions. Dave Paulides, the investigator behind the Missing 411 project, who documents unexplained disappearances, added Dawson's story to his list of unsolved cases. For him, this was not just a personal tragedy, but a puzzling piece in the larger picture of mysterious disappearances and unexplained deaths occurring all around. Dawson's story is not merely about a tragic accident. It is a profound question mark about the mysteries of nature, about forces beyond human understanding. What pulled Dawson into the dark waters of Lake Arrowhead? It's a question that, even now, lies beneath the cold surface of the lake, waiting for someone brave enough to find the answer. In the early morning of May 15, 2019, on Interstate 5, which cuts through the San Joaquin Valley in California, Satwant Baines, a seasoned truck driver, was on a refrigerated delivery run. This was a job he had committed to for decades, not just out of dedication, but also out of responsibility to his family. A man of principles who took pride in his meticulous nature, Satwant Baines was well respected among his peers in the trucking community. At 5 a.m. that morning, Baines' truck was cruising along the highway. The refrigerated truck he drove was carrying perishable goods, and to ensure timely delivery, he had to move quickly, but as always, with great focus. For him, driving through the empty roads at night was a normal part of the job, and Interstate 5 was a familiar route, a straight stretch cutting through vast, desolate fields with only a few trees visible in the faint light of scattered gas stations. At that hour, the highway was so quiet that it seemed like the only sounds were the truck's engine humming and the wind whistling through the mountain passes and wide-open spaces of the San Joaquin Valley. But Baines' journey was interrupted by a mysterious event. Around 5 a.m., the California Highway Patrol, CHP, received an urgent call from other drivers. A large truck was parked dangerously in the right lane of Interstate 5, not far from Los Banos, an area known for its 2 large reservoirs and artificial canals running through the valley. When CHP officers arrived at the scene, they immediately noticed something unusual. Baines' truck was not only parked in a dangerous spot, but was still running. The engine was on, the refrigeration system was operating, keeping the cargo cool, but there was absolutely no sign of Satwant Baines. The officers thoroughly inspected the truck and quickly found puzzling details. Baines' cell phone was inside the cab, along with the truck's keys, suggesting he hadn't planned to leave it for long. There were no signs of a struggle, no indications that he had faced any immediate danger near the truck. The situation seemed to become even more perplexing with these clues. What had happened to Baines? Why would a man known for his discipline and professionalism abandon his running truck in the middle of the highway without leaving a note? Recognizing the oddity of the situation, the patrol officers called in additional support and began a search of the surrounding area, scouring every inch of the road, every patch of brush, and even the nearby fields. They searched throughout the day but found no trace of him. Disappearance soon became a mysterious story that spread across local forums and news outlets. His family, meanwhile, was caught in a state of confusion and desperation, reaching out to the authorities and even conducting their own search efforts. The search continued until 3 days later, on May 18th, when a Fresno County Sheriff's deputy, patrolling along the Delta Mendota Canal, a long, wide canal running parallel to Interstate 5 through the San Joaquin Valley, made a sudden discovery. The deputy spotted a body floating in the cold waters of the canal. A dive team was called in immediately, and the body was pulled ashore. It was Satwant Baines. Baines's death was quickly ruled as drowning, a simple but contradictory conclusion. His body bore no signs of trauma or injuries that might suggest he had been attacked or accidentally fallen into the water. His family revealed that he had diabetes, a condition they believed could have affected his health under harsh conditions. Yet the questions lingered. How could a man like Baines suddenly decide to leave his truck, cross at least 2 fences, and walk a challenging distance to reach the edge of the Delta Mendota Canal? And why would a man known for his responsibility and caution abandon a running truck with the keys and his cell phone still inside? It's difficult to imagine that Baines would willingly step out of his truck in the middle of the night, leaving his job unfinished without any explanation. His disappearance quickly became the subject of various theories. Some speculated that he might have experienced a sudden panic attack disorientation due to his diabetes, or exhaustion. However, these explanations did not fully account for his strange journey to the canal. For Dave Paulides, who documents and researches unexplained disappearances, Bain's death was just another piece in a puzzling sequence of events. Incidents like that of Satwant Baines not only brought pain and loss to his family, but also left lingering questions for the entire community. Paulides suggested that these disappearances might be part of a larger phenomenon, one that few people notice but which carries an unsettling undercurrent of danger. Bain's case is eerily similar to the disappearance of Dawson Hartwig earlier that year at Lake Arrowhead, another unexplained death, shrouded in the mysterious veil of nature. The cold waters of the Delta Mendota Canal have become the final resting place for a story of a man who vanished without a trace, as if he had stepped into another world that no one can comprehend. Perhaps you are wondering, what truly happened to Dawson and Satwant Baines? And how could such capable individuals meet such inexplicable ends? These are the questions that continue to haunt me and those who have heard Dawson's story. As a community, we share the pain, but also bear a shared responsibility to raise awareness and protect ourselves and our loved ones from unexpected dangers in nature. If this story has made you reflect or stirred something within you, share your thoughts and feelings in the comments below. Have you ever experienced something strange in the wild? Or do you know of a mysterious disappearance that you can't forget? Every story, every comment is a valuable piece that helps us better understand the unresolved mysteries. Please leave a comment below. Together, we can create a community where people can listen, share, and empathize, and perhaps we might even shed light on the mysteries that remain hidden in this vast world.